Thank you very much, my good sir. Now we're heading over to Route 66, and and we see Hartford has once again swapped Super Vader in place of True Blade. Oh yeah, it's no. My best guess is that they're looking to run around this Winston composition once again. We've seen it work well for them in the past. When they have these more open maps, they tend to prefer Super Vader running the Winston. On the more close quarters style, they typically will run True Blade as the Zarya player. And it's worked pretty well. To my knowledge, they thank you very much. To my knowledge, they have yet to drop a King's Row with Super Vader in on the Zarya. Now, as we are getting this game in underway, I'm looking forward to see how this match pans out.
Yeah, and hopefully the momentum. Well, yeah, I think I can solidly and confidently say the momentum built by the University of Hartford on the previous Kings Row match. Hopefully, it's not a flash in the pan as we watch this pan out, because this Route 66 has been one of the more solid mainstays for University of Hartford defense and tactics. They play around this map incredibly well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it often. I'm sorry. To elaborate a little bit more, I realized I didn't actually set anything up besides just saying that they play incredibly well. It's because that they play a different strategy. The Zarya has been incredibly healthy for them. We haven't seen a lot of other tanks outside of a Winston and a Diva, but when they do play that Winston, it's largely on this map. Super Vader really feels himself when it comes to playing on this map against other dive teams, pseudo dive, a spam when it comes to a Zarya, and ooh, this is going to be very interesting. How are they going to respond to the brawl that I believe they see as they see the hammer sticking out from the Reinhardt, who foolishly put it through? Seems like they're going to know immediately. All sights focused on this train right here, as Becombase is going to jump up and reveal that this is truly a 5-man spawn hold.
The Reinhardt brought the 1 HP. Reinhardt
So
gets taken
low.
out in exchange for the Zenyatta, and that's just not worth it. You really need this Reinhardt to hold your composition together. Zenyatta obviously helpful with the discords, but yeah, they're just gonna fall. I do like the idea. You know, it forces extra fights out, but you know, running this type of composition can be really tricky on Route 66. It works really, really well once you get to third and the third point, but I hope that Hartford is able to steamroll through this team to reach that point, and then recognize something may need to change.
Absolutely. However, this other team, Hardrockers, are definitely going to have to notice that first, as they're brought low just even trying to get the entire train there. Their caboose getting cut off from a myriad of different locations. As you can see, the Torbjorn really emphasizing the negativities of playing a composition like Brawl on an open map like this. To even get to the location in which you can fight, you're going to have to give up so many resources, not only in health, but in trying to get your team there healthily enough to actually take a fight that's winnable. So the University of Hartford taking advantage of that, playing around that incredibly well, enjoying a lot the Diva pick here from Super Vader, kind of looking like my Diva.
Yeah, and oh yikes! Oh, the Blade
However,
finds
Blade does
two,
find
I
purchase.
believe. Um, I wanted to see what Blackout was able to do because I believe he found like 3 kills in the previous fight, but he kind of, unfortunately, whether it was his positioning or just decision making from the Hardrockers, he just gets taken out right at the beginning of the fight. Reaper, though, all that remains, Moira and Lucio have returned from their respawn. Reaper taken out, Moira, Lucio brought extremely low. Sojourn back of their own. Ori Morio in the 1v1 gets the help from the Genji to follow up. Massive shatter from Archimedes, takes out both supports, but he's entirely alone in his endeavor. And that's so cinematically pleasing.
That is a well-placed hammer. However, indicative of the poor nature of this comp overall. I mean, you have pros and cons to every single composition, and oftentimes the weight of those pros and cons are determined by the meta as seen. And the meta right now definitely lends itself more to the Zarya that they just swapped onto. The Reinhardt, the rest of the sustain, even throughout the Moira that they're going to keep for Hardrockers here, is a longer sustain than is really competitively viable right now. However, if you're playing around it well like they seem to be right now, and then resting on the deficits of the enemy team, you can really, really utilize it to its full effect and capabilities. Hopefully University of Hartford is able to recognize the negatives of their comp and play around it by just playing faster, something that we haven't seen them do pretty much all match so far.
Yeah. But, of course, I still think they're set up for success. They have the Nano Blade combo online. All they have to be aware of is the sound barrier of doubled on the Hardrockers.
I'm sorry, how do they have this Nano Blade online? Excuse me? Like, I'm watching it, and he's getting kills, and this is amazing.
That was
how? What? Wait, and then he gets 5?
What?
I'm
Hey,
so
yo!
confused.
Hey, yo! Check him PC. Was that just
I
a
think we should
5-man
check
Nano
it easy.
Blade?
How did he build the blade after using it the previous fight on first,
Did he?
and then having it ready for the first fight?
Did he Ajax them, or was it just like, what happened to the sound barrier? What?
I don't know.
What happened?
That was a big question mark fight all around as to how he even built the blade. Where did the beat go? How did he get 5? But we're looking into the next fight here as the Reaper ult's going to come out from Cyberry, antied, and immediately finished by Become Based. However, there's going to be a trade from Revan.
Oh,
but
big
that
sound barrier
bomb,
with
though.
the cinematic perspective of Orimuru. Now it's just the Zarya and Lucio that remains. They take out the Lucio first. Zarya, final one to go down, stalling it as long as possible. Orimuru finds him with the rail of the Sojourn. Now you see Orimuru already looking to take this aggressive point positioning, because he knows they're not going to go for that recontest. Massive slow, cuts them off entirely. But
That might be the fattest slow I've ever seen in my life.
no.
Wow, I had a great literary joke there, actually. Sorry, never mind. Never mind.
I really need him to find good positioning on the high ground and just go for this overclock. He's held on to it for, I believe, 3 fights in a row. But, you know, he hasn't needed to use it. He's just taking them out without it. Oh, boy! Orimuru finding 3 in a row. Finds the 4th on the Lucio. Does he make it a 5k? Give him the 5k. Give him the 5k. He lost him.
He's looking for the Moira. The Moira's breaking ankles out here, and ooh,
that's still
Orimuru's not able to find them fast enough.
Still a
but
fantastic play from Orimuru on the Sojourn of the University of Hartford Red.
Yeah, that was really solid approach to this first fight. Obviously, swaps have been made out as we do swap backlines here. Mr. Oog on the side of Hardrockers going down, and then Revan going on the side of UHart Red. But still a strong position. However, the grab does come out after the DMEC, and that's just natural. The beat is also used a very economically breaking fight when it comes to the Hardrockers. However, the blade does come out from Become Base, but I mean, he's getting them at the bargain store for 2 a pack at this point. So I'm not very worried about Become Base's ability to rebuild that blade and put them at a greater advantage than they're already kind of sitting on with the 2 ults to almost 2 ults on the side of Hardrockers.
You know, I would have no issue with them going for a nano overclock. Now, it won't find as much, you know, guaranteed value as a... Does this sound... Self-destruct finds none. In fact, he gets taken out by the Coalescence. The Nano Overclock won't find as much free value as the Nano Blade will, but it's still quite a dangerous combination.
Yeah, and once again, the position here as they take advantage. The sustained comp doing very well to just kind of zombily walk towards the spawn. Finishing off fights incredibly strong, and that's one of the things that I can definitely say is a very big positive for Hardrockers. Regardless of the comp that they're playing on, their finish game and their cleanup game is, bar none, probably the best in this match so far.
Now, they have made the swap over to the Winston. I expect perhaps a Nano Winston coming in here. Instead, just goes in without it. The May Blizzard comes out, finds a freeze onto Become Based. Transcendence just a little too late.
Yeah, but no, Blackout had to give him the boot. I respect the play 100%, as Blackout went in to get the kill rather than saving his Genji. An understandable decision at the time, especially when you see him and you know that their face would look better with a boot print on it. You just gotta go for it every once in a while. But the Zenyatta, the only one alive right now to heal up the team, as the Monkey jumps in incredibly deep, trying to secure this, and Orimoru with the good backup, the very good backup, as he also brings the Sojourn incredibly low. A solid position here, but the spawns are going to be closer for Hardrockers as the Winston once again jumps into the back line, just wrecking havoc and doing his job as Mr. Oog is taken out by a combination jump there, followed by Dr. Gan, the Moira, the Lucio, the Sojourn, all down on the side of Hardrockers. The Grav, however, comes out from their Zarya, but the only one alive to try and capitalize, and that's not going to be enough as the overtime ticks. University of Hartford incredibly close to pushing it in, but not there yet. Once again, those fickle spawns preventing it for a little bit as the beat comes out. Both the Moira and the Lucio get it. There's a little bit more health to cut through as the Blade comes online for Become Base. Looking to finish off this fight. An incredibly important one, but not like we're really expending any time. And seems like a large waste of energy from the side of Hardrockers. The dream is always alive, but at times like this, the dreams are definitely slipping away.
Absolutely, and that was, you know, we've said it multiple times already. It's just fantastically done by the University of Hartford. It did happen as I was a little afraid of. They did run out of their steam at the end, but like once they reached third point, the Hardrockers composition did find a lot more value, and because of it, they managed to force Hartford into capping with 0 time remaining.
Absolutely. I would love to spend this little time to talk about a proclivity that I have, Adam. I remember the last time that me and you casted on a map such as this, we got a little bit of time to talk about science facts. And, you know, as a consummate Mario Party player, I do love me some mini games. So, you got any questions of geological, environmental, or anything similar to that? Honestly, any scientific question that you have that I could fit into the next 30 seconds?
Yeah, absolutely. How do you think Big Earl's gas prices compared to the ones we would find here in Connecticut?
Well, you also have to think about time dilation. We talk about the economic effect of just future time, you know, technology, as to whether or not they've actually solved the problem of having abundant resources, such as like the sun or wind or solar or electric. All of those options seem like better than gas. And because of all those reasons, I feel like they're probably astronomical. They're probably sitting on gold in that little gas station right there. And or it could be completely defunct and there's no gas at all. Think about it. Have you ever seen a single person staffing Big Earls? You ever seen Big Earl? It's questions for another time. So we're going to get into this start here. Route 66, once again, University of Hartford caps 3, but with no time left over as University of South Dakota, the Hardrockers are going to be trying to cap a little bit more time. A sight and a ping goes on to that Hanzo. The chosen target goes down almost immediately. A very strong dive by the Genji and the Diva. Oh, and it looks like they're going to be able to find the Lucio here, who's incredibly low. Also goes down. And this is just going to be a 1v1 that you don't want to be in as the Moira. As they do manage to fade and back out, but that's going to be them ceding a lot of ground. And that's Zarya taking a lot of damage. A late pick here could be everything for the future fight setup. But even so, a clean fight by University of Hartford.
Yeah, absolutely. And some relatively decent ultimate charge as well for Become based on this Genji. He gets really low by, I believe, a headshot from the Cassidy, perhaps. Zarya now boosts himself up onto this high ground, just trying to force control away from Hartford. Oh, and the Reaper puts a ton of shots in. Orimoru just barely alive here at 1 HP in this backline. I love this dangerous offense. It's really kind of screwing over the Hardrockers, because nowhere is completely safe when you have Orimoru on such a drastic off angle as this.
Absolutely, and they don't even go down. Orimoru brought incredibly low, but just nobody's able to finish him off here as the Lucio playing a dangerous game. A dangerous game that he seems to be winning as he forces the Genji to back out there. Whether or not it was just because of the calls from the team or whether or not Become Base wasn't confident enough to go in and finish off that kill, it was a necessary back out as they do want to keep 5 alive and they don't want to get caught out by spawns. Become Base backing up.
Absolutely, and you know, it's fair enough, because that was, as you said, extremely dangerous for Become Base to try and force any further. I want Orimoru to pull out this overclock, like, right now.
Yeah, I want them to pop it earlier than they do in fights in the past, and as we continue to talk, it just seems to keep on not happening. However, the beat does come out to defend against it once it does pop online. Cyberry able to take out Demoy on the Genji. Come base down, but Mr. Oog goes down to a great headshot at the later end of that overclock, High Noon is out, forcing them off the point. University of Hartford not really able to touch right
Oh!
now as Revenant goes, he just gets popped right in the head. Ooh, and yeah, that's going to be first point for University of Hartford gone, as Hardrockers are able to take it.
Yep. And while this was, of course, really unfortunate for Hartford, they did force out a variety of important ultimates, specifically the Beat, the Coalescence, and the High Noon. Um, and coming in, they have the Transcendence to counteract this Zarya's Graviton, which I'm expecting they're just gonna try to focus down the Diva. Oh, actually, they're just gonna find the free opportunity, but the Transcendence there to completely counter it. Moira finds the Genji.
Yeah, and that was just a really good positioning play. Noticing that the Diva goes down, not able to eat the ultimate. Zarya's just going to shoot it into 2 that he finds, and that's a really smart usage of the ultimate, as Doubled is able to find Orimoru. Down to University of Harvard's going to try and get out here with as much as they possibly can, and they're trying to hold water at this point. It's not like they're going to be able to get everything, but finding a Reaper isn't a bad trade, especially with the Diva in a good position and with healers to be able to retouch. University of Hartford might be able to salvage the second point defense.
They've yet to fully cap, so as you say, there is still time. But this Reaper holding on to his Death Blossom, Diva out of mech. If the Reaper can get back into the fight, he's still far away. He might be able to make something. Orimuro switches over to the Junkrat. He finds 2, one being trapped. Only 3 meters left.
Oh,
And Hartford manages to hold on. Now it's just Zarya. This is extremely dangerous. Become based. Just a couple shurikens to the face takes him out.
And he has become based as him and his Zen Master, Zenyatta, Blackout. Great friends in real life as well. A really awesome thing to see them clutch that last fight there. Super Fader does come back, grinding them a little bit more reprieve than they would have had, as Sponsor is going to be simply a little bit closer. I do like, however, the swap over for Orimoru. A little bit more of a comfort character for him on the Junkrat, so hopefully he's able to do big things. And I think it might be a good thing to blow up that Zarya when she's out of bubbles, especially with the deficit they have when they're playing the Diva into Zarya. Hopefully they're able to equalize that damage. Archimedes, however, just walking around them and just walking into the backline, killing Blackout there.
This is looking pretty rough. Oh, become based forced. Then the blade as the nano also came out.
Oh, but that blade does get out the beat, and the coal was used earlier. However, the nano, probably the most tragic part of that. But being down support ultimates can be a very good thing for this last point. Probably not well intended, though.
Yeah. But, you know, we've seen Hartford come back from bigger, I'd say bigger deficits. And this isn't even much of a deficit. 2 minutes is not a monumental amount of time, but it is if they lose their Diva mech before the fight even starts.
Yeah, and the Bob coming out into the back line, who Super Vader thinking that he could potentially get to point fast enough, but a bullet is going to change his mind on that.
They're now in one fight territory, and this is...
Ooh, they are staggering.
They are trading ultimates for staggers, which is questionable. Blackout finds one too. This is risky business. Forces the trans after putting a volley into the face of the Zarya. Zarya, though, with the Graviton, looking to make it work, opts to hold on to it. The Transcendence and the Riptire coming out from the University of Hartford, and they manage to hold. Now,
yeah,
a
and
minute
this could be
30,
a great position to hold.
This is extremely winnable in this situation. A minute 30, Orimoru swaps over to the Hanzo of all characters. Archimedes, though, still holding on to this Zarya Graviton Surge.
Blackout's playing in a very dangerous position here. He's practically 1v1ing the Zarya. Ooh, also allowing him to get into the Ana very easily. That grab going off, both of them incredibly low, and that's going to be no supports for the University of Hartford. However, they do manage to trade for one. But Mr. Og finding it onto Orimoru, the headshot that he should have been finding, as the Diva mech is also going to go down, and that's pretty much become based and a baby Diva. The only ones alive on the point right now. The Reaper's dangerously low, but I don't...
so low, not able to take him out. Zenyatta,
going to be able to
Moira,
though.
Tracer, all that remain. Let's see what Orimoru is able to do over here on the Tracer. Oh,
looks like they're mostly going for stall here.
No
out of blinks, out of recall. And that's going to be them capping with 42 seconds left, adding a minute to both time banks. And wow, that's going to be another overtime that they're going to have to contend with University of Hartford, map after map.
But you know, I'm gonna say it. I honestly, that's not too bad. Sort of thought that Hartford didn't full cap, so seeing them still get this extra minute bonus is a little relieving as a fan of Hartford myself.
Yeah, it is a little bit relieving, but you're definitely not going to have the time to breathe for that much longer, as University of Hartford's going to have to do something great with that 1 minute, especially with the 42-second disadvantage. Our cameraman currently breaking my mental right now as I look up into this train that should easily, or probably, is swaying back and forth as I slowly get hypnotized looking into the star sky. Kind of beautiful, honestly. It says a lot about capitalism when you really think about it. The defunctness, the layers of depravity public transport users are forced to go through on a daily basis, only to find themselves at the whims of gods and ancient deities as the environment just fights back against the collective consciousness of humanity and defines what truly is an arbiter of life and death at some point.
Now we have Super Vader over here on the Diva once again. Orimaru on the Widow, looking to get a pick, goes for a grapple shot, doesn't find anything. Become based, rocking the Genji as he has been. Oh, it takes a dynamite to the face, trying to deflect it. And we actually see Orimaru swapping over to the Ashe of their own. Interesting decision.
Yeah, an interesting one that we don't know whether or not it's going to work. We haven't really seen a lot of Orimoru on the Ashe. However, Ashe, one of my personal favorite DPS. Those Dynamites incredibly important. Sadly, it's not able to be placed in a strong position. But with all of them 5 grouped up, it can be incredibly impactful, especially with the dive options that they have out of the Genji for Become Base. As Become Base finds one onto Mr. Og. Ooh, that Ashe dangerously low as well. Become Base hunting right now, looking for these picks. And oh my god, Cyberry's in such a bad position, having to back up towards the enemy team, as Lucio, in a very similar position, doesn't want to go the same way of his friend. However, manages to find some sort of safe haven, but is it really with Become Base so close to your face? Ooh, and he goes in for the dash. Ooh, beautiful finish.
Cyberry asked himself a question, which is more scary, Become Based or the other 4 members of the University of Hartford? And he decided the other 4 members, but of course Become Based was still there. But this is really dicey. All of the members of the University of Hartford are 1 HP. Become Base just barely finding the full medkit. Now it's just Genji versus the Ashe. Gets taken down, and Moira now coming back, maybe thinking about just going for this 1v2. Lucio here. The Zenyatta of Hartford coming back as well. This is dangerous territory.
I think the Zarya is going to be able to touch him without a tank on this point. The Revan's going to have to swap for the D.Va here. They're also going to have to stay on point. University of Hartford, I'm biting my nails here, as this is a very, very dangerous position to be in. The D.Va mech incredibly low. The beat coming out from the side of Hardrockers. Hardrockers do have that beat advantage.
Online. The Grav is online, but they pull the trance out before being able to save the D.Va, and that might just be it. They find both supports in the back line. They're not finding any picks of their own.
Oh.
The D.Va goes down without using her D.Va bomb, and that will be the end of the overtime attack for Hartford.
Yeah. However, not as poor of a showing as was possible. I think it was an incredibly solid push. They got it far enough to be, as is patent pending, winnable. University of Hartford winnable.
Absolutely, and some might even use the term Houstonable, not for Hartford though.
Yeah, I think some would do that. I think that style of verbiage might be, some would say cring, but
I wouldn't, and you wouldn't either.
yeah, I said some people. Definitely not any of the casters currently on this couch. Or proverbial couch. Once again, twitch.tv/AirCulver. Please check us out when you have the opportunity to. This is paid for by the viewers just like you, so if you enjoy this cast, give us a shout out, give us a follow, throw some bits in the chat, maybe in a free Prime sub. Literally takes the money out of Papa Bezos's little pockets there. So, you ever think about taking some money from a giant billionaire, megacorp, why not throw it here? Might as well, right? It's just free money. Couldn't be lying around. So thank you very much for your patronage, everybody.
Now, talking about this overtime defense, we see Super Vader switching over to the Zarya, and honestly, I think this might be the best idea. They showed that they can kind of hold with them when they run the Zarya mirror match.
Where did Orimoro just go? Where did Orimoro just
Ori.
go?
Uh-huh.
Listen, I saw the TP, and I was like, wow, that's a spicy TP. There's got to be a plan to that TP. There was not. As Cyberry also getting in deep, though.
Become Base
They're
takes
not
out
pushing
both of them.
cart.
They're just trying to force this high ground, but Become Base is just dashing through their whole team! How is this possible? Get
They're all
another dash
becoming
kill.
base by watching his gameplay right now.
That was so satisfying to watch as a spectator. Just looking at the kill feed, seeing Genji dash, Genji dash, Genji dash. That's just so cool.
That was really something. That was amazing. The cringe to based pipeline really coming in for full effect here as you become base really shows what it means to be an absolute Yada Chad. However, they do have the advantage of having Orimoru back in the cut here. Hopefully Orimoru now swapping over to the Sojourn is able to find a little bit more than that Reaper TP at the beginning of the fight. Ooh, a huge dynamite on top of Big Earls here, sending University of Hartford kind of careening. Ooh, as that Ashe would have been shot if Big Earl's sign wasn't there, but that Ashe is incredibly low. Gonna have to tap that Ashe real quick and get her down. But that's not happening as no picks are coming out from either side as the cart gets incredibly close. This is an overtime push.
Oh, he finds the rail shot onto the most important character. The Moira gets taken out. And now Lucio's the only healer alive for the Hardrockers. But they're not finding any of their kills. As I say that, Genji takes out the Ashe. Blade comes out by Become Based. Looking for the Reaper. Now the Zarya. Zarya only one remaining for the Hardrocker. Sound barrier out just to secure it. Moira back just in time just to die to the 4 remaining members of Hartford. 5 as Orimoru finds himself back from spawn. And just like that, the University of Hartford live another day, bringing us to map number 4, I believe, as Hartford leads the series 2-1.
That was incredible, and this is the play of the game that really made me think and really drive deep to try and come up with an analogy to make sense out of the play here from Become Base.
Oh, he Ajaxed them!
He did! Wow. An incredible first-person perspective of this beautiful 5K. Oh, incredible. And this really just reminds me of an incredible biblical verse, Luke 15:10. I once was lost, but now I am based. And I am becoming based by watching the incredible plays out here from Demoy. Right. An incredible player, a performer, and a student athlete all around. That was incredible. That was really, really beautiful to watch.
That was fantastic gameplay. Simple as that. And, I mean, he simply popped off.
Yeah. Quite simply. Is there anything more or even less complex than a Genji pop-off? I think there were 2 5Ks? No, the Lucio stole it in the overtime push, right?
Yes, the Lucio stole it.
I mean, but that was definitely his 5K to have. An incredibly influential member of the team there at the end, kind of holding together that first fight in the overtime after a tragic misplacement of TP by Orimoru. But they're all able to hold it together, and then Orimoru comes back to even provide his own little help at the end. And I say little, but it was incredibly helpful to find the headshot onto the Moira there, putting them into a perilous situation, the Hardrockers, that they are not able to dig themselves out of. And this is going to be the second time this week that we've seen push. The second time all season that we've seen push from the University of Hartford.
Absolutely. And I will say, honestly, if Orimoru doesn't find that rail shot onto the Moira, I don't think they win that fight. I think if that Moira stays alive any longer and just provides the sheer raw healing that Moira provides, I think it might have been enough just to, actually secure that defense or the attack for the Hardrockers' favor.
Yeah, that sustain is incredibly important for the entire ideology or seeming ideology of the University of South Dakota. Actually, sorry, I do not know if they actually are the University of South Dakota or if they are just the Hardrockers. I'll go back to calling them just the Hardrockers. But yeah, that sustain from the Moira is kind of the crux of their entire playstyle, regardless of the composition that they're putting together. They have seen quite a lot of success out of the Zarya. Archimedes putting it down and doing a great job. And honestly, overall, this is a great match to watch. I think I was hearing that in comms, that everybody was excited not only to play the match, but for the people that were helping out or just watching. They were going to be, pogging their little butts off when it came to watching it. And I think that's what this casting duo is definitely doing. as it's been a very, very enjoyable ride to watch.
My understanding, as I just did a quick bit of Googling, it seems like the school is the South Dakota School of Mines and Technology.
Like, like Minecraft mines, or
I'm assuming like coal mines, like underground mines.
are there above ground mines? That's a joke. Of course I know the answer to that. This is some geological information. Above ground mines are incredibly common and actually typically used inside of mountains when you're mining for coal. Oftentimes what you'll do is you'll have a lattice construction around the mountain and you just start to chip away at the outside of the mountain whilst bringing in lateral caves and built by humans, even though they're still considered caves. Even though they're above ground, throughout the mountain to kind of hollow it out, make it a little bit structurally unsound, and then what you can do is you can either collapse the mountain at the end when you're trying to clean up and make sure that the waste doesn't go and, pollute the environment or whatnot, or when you're done with it, you kind of just keep the latticing, and you have a throughway for the tunnels that you can then make bigger tunnels out of, and then have a nice throughway where you can put like a highway or a train, which is how we actually got through the Rocky Mountains to be able to connect the West Coast and the East Coast back in the 1800s during the rapid expansion that happened during the American Revolution. Wait, sorry, Civil War.
That's exactly what I was thinking. We are just on the same page today, and I just love to see it.
It's incredible to just have a cast who just gets it, and it's beautiful to have you, honestly. Thank you so much for allowing me to be on this cast and just mind meld with you on a weekly basis.
Did you just call me beautiful?
I did do that.
Wow. This changes things.
Does it?
No, I'm just kidding.
Aha, one of your classic Joshes. One that I definitely expected and am not heartbroken about. Thank you very much for allowing me to laugh at this time.
You're welcome. Ha ha ha.